That's right. I finally decided to take a break from PlayStation for a bit. Greetings, mortals. I am Warevo, and this is Aladdin on the Sega Genesis. Developed in 1993 by Virgin Games and published by Sega, of course, Aladdin was, well, obviously developed to follow the Disney movie of the same name, which came out the year before. This game was the first one that Disney was directly involved in developing. I loved this game as a kid, though I never was able to beat it because of one fatal flaw, but we'll get to that later. This game follows the movie relatively faithfully, taking liberties here and there as needed. You start off in the streets of Agrabah, where the palace guards stalk you throughout the entire game. Literally, you see these same 3 guards all over the frickin' place, often multiple times in a single frame. Did the Sultan have some kind of cloning device or something, or does Razul just have 100 twin brothers? Outside of Razul and his henchmen, you also have Iago, who also appears all over the place, snake charmers, arms that drop pots, exploding skeletons, ghosts, and statues that have weeping angel syndrome. But the biggest pain in the butt are these guys who juggle swords. They have really good aim, and they're placed in the most inconvenient spots. The controls are pretty standard for a 2D platformer, and you have a sword for close quarters attack, and apples for a long range attack. You only get a limited number of apples though, so make sure you save them as much as possible. Or don't, since you lose them if you die and you restart with 10. After surviving the streets of Agrabah, you head out to the desert to find the first half of the scarab that will lead you to the Cave of Wonders. Then return to Agrabah to find the other half, and fight your first boss fight with Razul. Time your jumps as you jump over his barrels, lob apples at him, easy, done. Once you beat the level, if you've collected these little Abu tokens that appear in the levels, you'll be taken to a bonus stage where you get to play as Abu, avoiding falling pots and stuff. Honestly, I've never been able to beat one of these, but then again, I just suck at them. After that, you get thrown in the dungeon where you get beat up by wrecking balls and exploding skeletons, before finally finding the Cave of Wonders, where you get flocked by bats and statues that freeze when you look at them. Then you meet your next boss here, an evil genie statue. The first curveball this game throws you is the second of the 3 Cave of Wonders levels. This level and the next one are the hardest levels in the whole game, and most people I've spoken to usually gave up on these levels. Thank God I'm playing on an emulator so I can take advantage of the save state, or I'd go nuts having to play through the entire game over and over and over after repeatedly rage quitting. For the carpet ride, I actually had to write down the pattern for this one. Otherwise, I would have been here forever. And yes, I'm aware that the carpet ride level automatically skips you to the next level after dying 3 times, but I couldn't accept that. After escaping the Cave of Wonders, you get to my personal favorite level, Inside Genie's Lamp. I love the fact that the background has a Sega Genesis. You stop for a moment, listen to the music, and you hear a pretty good 16-bit rendition of Friend Like Me. The whole game does a pretty good job of translating the Aladdin soundtrack into 16-bit. After escaping the lamp, you head to the Sultan's palace. This is as far as I was ever able to make it as a kid, so I'm exploring new territory. This level is pretty straightforward, though from here on there are a lot more enemies that get in your way. It's still pretty easy until you get to the final level, Jafar's Palace. This is where you want to conserve your apples, but it's really hard when they throw guards and statues at you in droves. This is the most treacherous level in the game. Not the hardest level, but certainly the most difficult to navigate safely. But then you get to the final boss, Jafar. This is the most frustrating part of the whole game, and you can bet you'll be dying a lot. First off, Jafar has two phases. First, you have his normal human form. Here, he uses his staff to pull you closer to him. Sometimes you'll jump and he'll just fling you across the arena. The pattern I found is you run in the opposite direction when he's trying to pull you in, then when he takes a break, you jump and lob an apple at him. If he does manage to pull you close enough to deal damage, you can avoid taking damage by simply spamming the sword, which will cause you to jump back a bit. But then you get to phase 2, his snake form. This form shoots fire at you constantly, and you can't use the platforms to avoid the flames because the platforms will burn you if you step on them. This form takes 20 hits to beat, but by the time you get to this phase, you're already out of apples and out of health. I spent the better part of 2 hours spamming the save state before I finally gave up, hit reset, and pulled out the master cheat. Here, you go to options, and you press AC, 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 B, 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 B.
Yeah.
Among other things, you can get invincibility. The problem here is that if you use the level select cheat, yes, it will send you to that level, but it will treat that level as the first level of the game, then send you back to level 2 once you beat it, meaning you have to play the entire game over again. I say screw that and use one of the many level skip codes. Pause the game and hit A, B, B, A, A, B, B, A. And get ready to do that a lot. Now that I'm back to Jafar, it's time to put this snake down. For the most disappointing end screen I've seen in years. And that's Aladdin on Sega Genesis. It's a great game once you look past its flaws, but it's one of the most notoriously difficult games on the Genesis. And I'm sorry this video was so short, but I'll make up for it really soon. And if YouTube didn't take this video down for copyright violations, thank you, Disney. I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm Will Ravo, thank you so much for joining me, and God bless.